Sandhan. All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to Sandhan All Gujarat Integrated Classroom. Today, friends, we will discuss a very interesting topic, and the name of topic is The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. Friends, you will understand the poetry of T.S. Eliot, but the first and most important thing is that we have to understand the writer, that is T.S. Eliot. This is the brief background of the poet. The poem itself has a very important significance in the history of English poetry and specifically 20th century poetry. Now, I have very clearly indicated in the slide, which you can see, is that Eliot was born in the year in which Arnold died. Okay, here it is a very interesting link for all of you that Matthew Arnold was a very great literary poet and critic of the 18th century, or we can say that Victorian age. Now, Eliot had a great influence of Matthew Arnold on his writing. So in 1888, Matthew Arnold died and T.S. Eliot was born. He was born in St. Louis, Missouri, that is the place. He was a son of successful businessman. Now here you will find very important thing that he was an American living in London. Okay. He educated at Howard University, the University of Paris and Oxford. And we all know that he had a major influence on the postmodern, on the modern poetry as well as postmodernist in the later time. He was a dramatist, he was a poet and literary critic of the 20th century. Now I would like to explain about T.S. Eliot. He clearly says that in my end is my beginning and in my beginning is my end. Very clearly he said. I would like to highlight few major events in life of Eliot, because these events are very important to understand Eliot as a creative genius. You will see the effect of the writing and the change and the shift of writing from time to time. Okay, as you know that he was born in 1888, then 1906 to 10 he attended Harvard University and from there he pursued philosophy. And in 1910 or 11 he studied at Sorbonne in Paris. And even again in 11 to 15 studied in German at Oxford. His first marriage is there married to Vivian High in 1915, and 1917 is the year of publication of a book of poetry, that is Prufrock and Other Observations. 1922, here you will find the great and most influential poem by Eliot, that is The Waste Land. In the 1922 it was published. Friends, you should also know that 1922 is the year in which Ulysses by James Joyce was published, which is considered as the most important novel of the 20th century, and the Wasteland is considered as the most significant poem of the 20th century. 1927, he became British citizen. Here it is also very interesting and important to know that he became British citizen in 1927. Now, after this, you will find that there is a change in the writing of Eliot. You will find that his initial or early work and later work, there is a shift, or you will find a brief change which we will discuss later on. Now 1944, again for publication of 4 quartets, and importantly 1948 is the year in which he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. Friends, in 1957 married his assistant Valerie Fletcher, and 1965 died in London at the age of 76. So you will find here that T.S. Eliot was not only a poet but a critic and as well dramatist as well. His life has so many ups and downs. Initially, you will feel that Eliot had a important connection with Ezra Pound, who shaped, or you will find that who guided him in many ways. So early years, you will see that in the early years, T.S. Eliot was very important and he was influenced by these people. His interest in religion, philosophy, science, you will also feel in his poems. Now friends, the Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock is a poem. It is a long narrative poem which is considered as a signature poem by T.S. Eliot. But first we should understand modern poetry briefly, so we can get the idea that how T.S. Eliot has written this poem, or we can say that this poem has changed 20th century poetry, a scenario of the 20th century poetry. You can see on the screen, that is "Make It New," Ezra Pound. Now this is the phrase which became famous during this time, and the phrase itself suggests that it is a new time and there we need to have a change in many ways. Modern poetry, there were many great modern poets, like along with T.S. Eliot, you will find W.B. Yeats was also a major influential poet. Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound, these poems and the time between 1910 to 1920 or 30 around is considered as the high modern period. It means that during this time, major works of modernists were published or were written. Now modern poetry, as you see, is highly experimental and unconventional. Okay friends, you will see when you read as a student, when you read the poem, you will find that poets were experimenting with the form, structure, theme and many other things. So poetry is innovative and experimental, and it is also unconventional. You will find that the poetry of romantics or Victorian poets, you will find here the difference. It is unconventional. You will see here that even Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock is experimental and unconventional. There are many revisions and versions you will see here in the poem. Again, importantly, you will find that it is predominantly intellectual rather than emotive. Again, it is very interesting to understand that modern poetry is intellectual. Okay, you cannot just read as it is. Okay, you have to use your mind while reading a poem. It directly does not affect to your emotions. So when you read the love song of Alfred Prufrock, you will find that you have to continuously be very conscious while reading. Okay, and this is also a very important characteristic of Eliot, that he does not allow his reader to be very passive. Okay, he gives references and so many other things, illusions. So you have to understand, you have to think, and then you can go into the deep. Now again, modern poetry will find use of symbols, images and illusions. Okay, we know very well that T.S. Eliot had a great influence on him of the French symbolist poets. So symbols were used in a poem, images and illusions. Illusions means references from other poets, from the other languages. They were recurring in the poem. If you discuss about the form, not a fixed pattern of writing. Okay, there is no fixed pattern, or you can say that form of writing a poem. Modern poets were not following any systematic or standard of meter, rhyme scheme, or you can say the form of a poem. So it is also highly innovative. You will find the different kinds of poems. Sometimes when you are reading a poem, you will think that it is a prose writing. Okay, colloquial language and slang. Again, modern words were used, or colloquial language is a very important characteristics of modern poetry. And complex and fragmented. So this you will feel while reading a modern poem, that it is not as easy as you understand early poets. So the poems are very complex. There are in between references, words, or you will find that they are fragmented. You will find that dislocation, or there is a change in the writing. So poems, you will try to connect one stanza with another, or as a whole, you will find that it is in a fragmented nature, but still it has a significant. It at the end you will get an entire feeling. So these are the major poetry characteristics of modern poetry. Modern poets, and especially T.S. Eliot, made it a great contribution to the rise and development of the poetry. Now friends, here what do you see? Why I have put this picture here of so many other figures? It is very interesting and important to know that these pictures suggest something. You will find the picture of Michelangelo, you will find the picture of James Fenimore Cooper, then John Donne, Shakespeare, Homer, Matthew Arnold, Dante. These pictures means that all these people have influenced, or in the poem Love Song of Alfred Prufrock, there are references and allusions from the works of all these poets, writers and thinkers. So Eliot was very conscious while writing a poem, but it is very difficult to understand the context, but you can still get the idea that how he was technically and very skillfully using allusions in his poems. So again, it is a very important characteristic of T.S. Eliot, if you want to understand him as a poet. Now, form is very important. Okay, which kind of form it is? You will find or you will feel that the modern poems or modern poetry, they were, as I told you clearly, that they were experimenting with style and form. Now, the love song of Alfred Prufrock is dramatic monologue, or at some time it is interior monologue, it is better to say. Okay, dramatic monologue. In the dramatic monologue, there is a speaker or there is an individual who is speaking, and the monologue is specially in such form that you will not find the reaction. You will find the reaction, but you will not find the voice of listeners. Okay, this is dramatic monologue. Dialogue, you might have heard the word. So monologue and dramatic monologue, which was popularized by Robert Browning. Now here, interior monologue is also a technique that exhibits thoughts through the mind of the protagonist. Interior monologue, as the title or the term itself suggests, that it allows you to think, or it represents the mind of the protagonist. It represents the struggle, the inner conflict and stream of consciousness of the speaker. So before going to the poem, you should understand brief about the form. So while reading a poem, there are many different kinds of sentences which are very difficult to understand, but you can understand that it is a monologue, interior monologue of the speaker. That speaker is continuously, there is a conflict in his mind, he is trying to say something. So that kind of features you will find in the poem.